problems. That guy, he just has to touch you once.
Shit's going down.
He's so different than anybody else in the division. Like, he knocks everybody out. Everybody hits hard. They all hit hard.
But he putting
that
shit
fucking
down.
dude hits hard.
That Jake Paul can come 15-20% in regards to Anthony Joshua. He's a completely different specimen. Look, you'll see what it looks like when they stand next to each other.
Joe Rogan has finally weighed in on Anthony Joshua's intense new training clips for the rumored Jake Paul matchup. And according to Rogan, the footage is downright alarming. After watching Joshua unload explosive power shots and drill with top-tier coaches, Rogan didn't hold back. He called Joshua flat-out terrifying and said this might be the first time Jake Paul has stepped into something he can't hype his way out of. Rogan pointed out how sharp Joshua looks, faster hands, tighter technique, and a level of focus that fans haven't seen from him in a long time. And if Jake Paul actually follows through with this fight, Rogan believes the ending could come quick and violently.
Need to get stronger.
This matchup between Jake Paul and Anthony Joshua is set as an official professional heavyweight contest, following full Queensberry rules. The bout is scheduled for 8 3-minute rounds, with both fighters required to use 10-ounce gloves. To keep the competition balanced, Joshua has been given a strict weight cap of 245 pounds at the weigh-in. The outcome, whether victory or defeat, will be added directly to their professional records. In short, this isn't an exhibition or a promo stunt. It's a legitimate fight with real consequences.
No bout. This is going on people's records. AJ gotta take him serious because this isn't some exhibition. We're running out some judges to act like there's a decision and someone won. No, someone's gonna win, someone's gonna lose here. It's 8 rounds, 3-minute rounds. Again, heavyweight pro bout, 10-ounce gloves. AJ talking about breaking internets over faces. I think he meant to say breaking his face on the internet. Who knows? Maybe you can do both in the big 2025. But then you have the weight limit, 245 pounds. And people are automatically going to go, oh, God, here's the thing. Oh, here's the thing in the contract. No, stop all that. And I'm going to go on a rant in a second for all the people that thought this was fake, for all the people that thought that Jake wouldn't do this, for all the people that thought he was scared. I'm going to go on that rant in a second. But, okay, yes, 245 is a weird number because Jake has already fought at heavyweight. He fought Mike Tyson at 220-something. But again, I understand it a little bit. We're on short notice here. You don't want to have a Tyson Fury type situation, which AJ would never be 290 coming in here. But 260, 270, it starts to get out of the realm of possibility of like, what are we doing here? Even though heavyweight has no limit.
Issa Badarian, the CEO of Most Valuable Promotions, MVP, and Jake Paul's lead promoter, described the December 19th bout as a major global event. In an interview with Sky Sports, she mentioned that while Joshua has more experience inside the ring, Paul's unshakable self-belief could make the difference. Badarian called the matchup symbolic and revealed that her team acted quickly to finalize the fight, compressing months of planning into a short period. To maintain a serious, high-stakes atmosphere, strict weight requirements and professional conditions are in place. Badarian also noted that this matchup is more balanced than Joshua's fight against Francis Ngannou. While Ngannou had size on his side, he lacked refined boxing skills, making that contest uneven. Paul, on the other hand, has rapidly developed his abilities and ring awareness, making him a worthy opponent for Joshua and creating a genuinely competitive fight.
Also, we've got to consider, is AJ cashing out? Well, I did say a year ago when he got splattered by Daniel Dubois that he's finished now. He won't get that confidence back. He's not had any confidence, in his head. No belief for a long time. And I don't think he can get back to world levels. There's a couple of new young guns now coming up and coming through. It's like a changing of the guard. And when Usyk retires, I don't know what Daniel Dubois is going to do next, but what Daniel Dubois did to him, then he went on and lost to Usyk. But there's a few new heavyweights coming through, Moses Atalma, just to mention one. And you wouldn't start putting AJ in with any of these young up-and-comers that can punch hard, because I just don't think he's got the chance, because the ambition and the desire is going to be gone. So AJ most definitely is cashing out, and you can't fault him. Fair play to him. He's going to get a massive payday, maximise his exit route by fighting.
Some boxing fans are convinced that Jake Paul has a real chance against Anthony Joshua, often pointing to his raw power as the key factor. Although Paul started as a YouTuber, he has proven his punching ability inside the ring, landing heavy blows that have floored multiple opponents. Tyson Fury has even suggested that Paul could potentially stop Joshua, highlighting his increasing size and strength as a heavyweight. Paul himself has repeatedly claimed that Joshua has a vulnerable chin, implying that a perfectly timed punch could end the fight quickly.
Hey, will there be a limit for Joshua?
So there's a lot of discussion around the weight. Joshua fought Usyk twice. Both of those times, Usyk was 221 pounds. Joshua was 240 to 245. When Jake fought Mike Tyson last year, 227 pounds. I expect Jake will come in anywhere between 225 and 230, and Anthony Joshua has a weight limit of 245 pounds.
There will be those, as you're aware, that will look at it and criticise this fight. There already have been, haven't there? They'll say it's a real mismatch. What would you say to them? Are we going to be watching sport at its purest?
I would say it's much less of a mismatch than what you saw with AJ and Francis Ngannou, who a massive man, but relatively no boxing experience. I would say it's much less of a mismatch than AJ's 9th or 10th fight against guys who've been knocked out 20 to 25 times. Given AJ's pedigree, Jake is built for this. Jake is built for the big moments. So do I think it's dangerous for Jake Paul? Absolutely. Do I think it's also dangerous for Anthony Joshua?
Many fight analysts believe Jake Paul is taking a significant gamble by facing Anthony Joshua in the ring. Former cruiserweight champion Lawrence Okolie has pointed out that Joshua's incredible size and raw power make the matchup potentially hazardous for Paul. At the same time, two-time world champion David Benavidez has warned that Paul could be walking straight into a risky situation, given Joshua's extensive experience competing at the highest level.
100% respect to Jake Paul, but that's a dangerous fight for him. He probably gets knocked out, and I'm not trying to be a hater. I'm not saying nothing bad, but Anthony Joshua is Anthony Joshua. You know, he's multiple-time champion. Olympic gold medalist, you know what I mean? The last time somebody stepped in the ring with him that didn't have that much boxing experience was Ngannou, and you've seen what happened to him. Yeah. But big respects to Jake Paul. It's gonna be a good card, you know what I mean? It's a big fight, and it's a good fight, man. I give 100% respect to Jake Paul for even taking that fight.
The Ring 4, November 22nd. Watch only on DAZN.
Carl Froch has expressed criticism over Anthony Joshua's choice to face Jake Paul, suggesting that the fight seems more about financial gain than sporting challenge. Froch points out that Joshua, having already earned massive sums and achieved championship success, appears driven more by money than by building his legacy. With his financial future secure, Froch believes Joshua has little left to prove in traditional boxing and is opting instead for a lucrative crossover bout that promises a big payday.
I can't judge Anthony Joshua for getting the bag, as the kids say, for going to wherever the fight's going to take place and taking $92 million for going up against Jake Paul, right? You can't give him for that. You can't judge him for that. But don't try and tell me that this is a real professional boxing contest. I'm saying my guess is that this will be an exhibition matchup. And if it is, it'll be one hell of a show. And I'll certainly tune in. And fair play to both men because they're making an absolute goddamn killing. But what is going on? Jake Paul versus Anthony Joshua. It's a lose-lose for Joshua. It's a win-win for Jake.
Key concern about Anthony Joshua facing Jake Paul is his limited activity over the past couple of years. Since losing a split decision to Alexander Usyk in 2022, Joshua has fought only a handful of times. He returned to the ring with a victory over Robert Helenius in August 2023, followed by a win against Otto Wallen in December 2023, and then a knockout of Francis Ngannou in March 2024.
You think he can win, Jake Paul?
I think it's a possibility. No one is backing Jake Paul currently. You've seen him in the ring. You can see that he's got some knockout power. And I also believe people don't look at Joshua's last few fights. And I don't think it's going to be as big of a landslide as people feel. I feel like there's an overhand right that could easily land, and I wouldn't predict that Joshua's chin can last that. The problem is that all of the pressure's on Joshua at the moment. So Jake Paul, if he gets knocked out in 12 seconds, he should get knocked out. The problem is, as soon as Joshua starts taking damage, all of a sudden he's thinking, the world is watching me, I'm a professional fighter, and I'm getting beat off a YouTuber. All of the pressure is on Joshua, and that's a lot that can weigh on a man. You can't deny that Jake Paul has power. I think it's one of his only attributes. I think he's a very poor boxer, but what he does have is a weird technique where you don't know what
he's got power. How do we know he's got power?
He's knocked people out. Joshua has all of the world looking at him thinking you should walk him over. If it gets 2 rounds, 3 rounds inside, I think Joshua loses.
This fight shapes up as a classic David versus Goliath scenario. Jake Paul, who rose to fame through social media and lighter weight bouts, is taking on Anthony Joshua, a formidable heavyweight with championship experience and overwhelming size. Joshua clearly represents the Goliath of the matchup, while Paul enters as the underdog, hoping his determination, courage, and drive can help him close the gap and make the fight competitive.
A big money fight, £100 million potentially. Are you confident it'll happen?
I wasn't confident when I first heard about it. It sounds like one of those fairy tale fights that people talk about but don't actually get over the line. I heard this 3-4 months ago. I just dismissed it. I heard it a week ago. I went along with it, but deep down I thought this isn't going to happen. And today it's been made official. Jake Paul is going to get in a ring in a boxing match, boxing gloves, to mix it with one of the most dangerous heavyweights on the planet. Someone who is Olympic gold medalist, won the heavyweight championship twice. Although he lost his last fight against a very good Daniel Dubois, he's a top 10 heavyweight on the planet versus internet sensation, someone who's a latecomer to boxing and has boxed at a very moderate level. I'm talking domestic level, and he lost to Tommy Fury, for instance. And Tommy Fury, who he lost to, versus Anthony Joshua, they're 2 completely different sports. So I commend Jake Paul for putting himself in harm's way, because boxing is a dangerous game. People have died in the ring. People have been seriously injured, maimed. And he believes in himself enough to do it on a massive scale, because it's not about the money. He's got enough money. This is him wanting to push the boundaries of reality. He's manifested an amazing life for himself. He's a superstar, and I think he wants to try and do the unthinkable. He wants to. It's an insane challenge he's put himself up for, but you got to give him credit.
You say an insane challenge. You've described it before as Jake Paul being a cat versus Anthony Joshua's lion.
Yeah.
I mean, they're not equally matched on any sense, are they?
There's not one element of their boxing skill set that Jake Paul can come 15, 20% in regards to Anthony Joshua. He's a completely different specimen. You'll see what it looks like when they stand next to each other.
Anthony Joshua is his activity. He's only fought twice in 2 years, and one of them he got knocked out off Daniel Dubois. That was his last fight, and a lot of people say you can only judge a fighter's quality from their last fight. And then the fight before that was a win, but it was a win against Francis Ngannou. Francis Ngannou, if you know, he was the UFC heavyweight who's not a real boxer, and he only had 1 fight before that boxing fight, what he lost as well. So that's his activity in boxing. Now, Jake Paul, on the other hand, looking at his box rec, he's had 6 fights since 2023, and one of them was against Mike Tyson. But we all seen what happened in that fight. Mike Tyson was well past his prime. Where Anthony Joshua, on the other hand, is, well, I'm not going to say he's coming into his prime, because he had some great wins earlier on in his career before he lost to Usyk twice. And by the way, when he did lose to Usyk, the last one was a split decision. It was a pretty close fight. So now this fight is matched, and I just want to look at the tail of the tape. Now, looking at the age difference, we've got 28 years old compared to 36 years old. So I guess the advantage there goes a little bit towards Jake Paul. 28-year-old is better than a 36-year-old. But that being said, we've got talking about experience and everything else, what comes with being 36 years old at Anthony Joshua's level. And then, like I mentioned, the heavyweights kind of seem to prime a little bit older. Now, come down to the height and the weight. This is the big one. 6'1" versus 6'6". 200 pound versus 252 pound. We got a 252 pounder in Anthony Joshua. The reach advantage is a lot, which we would expect. Amateur fights, we can see that Jake's only had one, where AJ's had 43, but 43 of them are including at the highest level, Olympic level. And yes, he won the Olympic bloody gold medal, if I don't need to remind you. Then the pro record, Jake Paul has had 13 fights, lost 1. AJ has had 28 fights and he's lost 4 with 25.
David Haye has issued a stark warning about the upcoming clash between Anthony Joshua and Jake Paul, describing it as a potentially dangerous mismatch. Speaking with Sky News, the former heavyweight champion cautioned that Joshua's power could cause serious harm to Paul, even suggesting that the fight could be extremely risky if Paul underestimates Joshua's size and experience. The physical differences between the two fighters are significant. Joshua stands at 6 feet 6 inches with an 82-inch reach, while Paul is around 6 feet 1 inch with a 76-inch reach. Joshua normally weighs between 240 to 250 pounds, but for this bout, he's capped at 245 pounds. Paul, who spent most of his career as a cruiserweight, has bulked up to roughly 227 pounds for his previous heavyweight contests. This advantage in size and weight could give Joshua a notable edge in both power and reach.